Alright guys, I was studying at the library doing some math for my math course, and I had this kind of realization. First of all, like, girls tend to do much better in school, and I've been noticing this myself, like especially in the humanities. It's all girls, right? And like, who studies the longest hours, who's at the libraries doing all the studying, I find it's mostly women. And I found it so hard to focus on the math that I was doing at the library. I can put in a little bit of concentration, and then my attention goes elsewhere. And I found, like, all throughout my studies when I was doing my bachelor's in psychology, or just I've done a lot of years of schooling with varied amounts of success, right? I just found that if my studying is kind of self-driven, like for my own purposes, for my own goals, like in the chess world, I could study for like 10 hours in a row for chess, because it's an autonomic process for what is that, autonomous process, like for my own goal, directed towards my own goal, kind of thing. But if it was someone else giving me a task, like in school, teachers prescribing me the whole process, like how to go about doing things for their ends, the ends that they prescribed to me, then it was very hard for me to put in the effort on a task. I had to be in control of the process, right? And I mean, towards my own goal, kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying this is a good thing, and this is exactly what I'm trying to counter at this stage in my life. And so that's why I'm kind of doing these math courses. I'm starting at the very beginning. Like, the course I'm in currently at BCIT is for grade 12 level math. Just basically is a review of everything, like all the high school topics for math. And it's a pain in the ass to sit through it, to do all the homework and everything. But it's like, I feel like this time in my life right now, I'm 31 years old. These kind of 5 years are for doing everything that's on the other side of my aptitude, like everything that comes very, very difficult to me, for doing all those things. Because I found in my early 20s, I was very, very successful. Like, I built myself an empire, doing everything that was on the side of my strengths, right? Doing everything that came very easy for me, everything that I was passionate about, everything tailored to where my strong suit was. And so success came very easy, and I built myself an empire, right? I became very, very successful, very fast. But that's for a future video, unpacking that. But then I also lost all that overnight. I just lost everything because of my weaknesses. I hadn't worked on them. So now it's like I'm coming back for more, but I'm not competent enough. My skill set does not support me. And so that's what I'm working on right now. It's like I'm willing to put in the work right now, and kind of just, like, my lifestyle is good, right? But the thing is, there's no leverage in this lifestyle. Like, when I'm trading time for money, there, in a trade where there's no leverage, right? So yes, in less than 4 years, maybe 3 years, 2 years, whatever, 3 years, I'll be making 100K a year, but there's no leverage to go beyond that, right? So I know that there's kind of a ceiling on this path that I'm on, which is why I'm building the skill set, building the competence right now to go beyond that. The trade that I'm doing right now is completely on the other side of my aptitude. Everything that I'm doing, I'm taking STEM classes. If I went back into humanities, arts, those courses, I know I could just like leave everyone's jaws on the ground. Like, I'm that good in that area. But there were things that weren't supporting me. For example, just to give some examples, like, let's say, to go from the bachelor's degree I finished, I did it with honors, but I failed at the very end during COVID, and I could not make it into grad school. First, because I couldn't handle the bureaucratic side of it, like the applications, the grants, the bureaucratic side of it. I was very weak in that. So that's kind of something that I've been working on. My math ability wasn't there. My ability with computers wasn't there. The ability to do deep work for long hours wasn't there. All the sucking up to teachers, professors, whatever, like emailing them correspondence, that I guess is, again, the bureaucratic side. So a lot of these weaknesses just really held me back. So, like, that's just one example, right? Or problem solving, troubleshooting, getting a lifestyle together where I have some money, some means, living on my own. This car that I just bought, everything, like, the physique wasn't there, my health was bad, social skills weren't there. Like, so it's like what Hormozi talks about, like the ladder to success, where let's say you've built the sides of the ladder very high, but you're missing the rungs, or maybe you have the rungs of the ladder, but you're missing one side of that ladder, so you can't climb up. So I felt like I had built certain parts of that ladder very, very high. Like during my whole 20s, that EQ component, emotional quotient, the soft skills I developed to such a high extent, right? That's how I became so successful in my area, in my domain. But I was missing a lot of the hard skills. So I had only built up one side of the ladder very, very high, but I was missing the whole other side of the ladder. So that's what I'm working on. And back to what I started the video with about the girls studying long or whatever. I realized today that like all throughout school, I never did any homework, and I was allowed to just pass without doing the homework, just getting like 50%, not towing the line, right? Not following the tutelage. And I feel like this benefited me to some extent, because when I compared myself to my other classmates all throughout my humanities education, I was miles ahead when it came to like being creative, being self-driven, like just having a command over the subject matter, really like that whole side. But then I was miles behind when it came to doing the work, doing the process, because I had not whipped myself into being compliant, right? And this is actually comes back to like why girls do better, because I think I do believe that to some extent their personalities are more compliant. Guys have a tougher time being that compliant, but it's also the social aspect, the conditioning. I think girls are conditioned to be compliant from a very early age. All the messages they're receiving, the normative pressures are there. Guys, it's the kind of the opposite, right? To be self-reliant. And this has its pros and cons. I'm not going to say it's all one way or the other. All I can say is in this particular thing that I'm trying to do, like excel in school, follow the process, take the tutelage, work the process, there I'm really missing that conditioning to be compliant, to just work the process under somebody else's vision, somebody else's prescription. Comes very difficult to me. And that is exactly what I'm working on right now, this other side of my strong suit, right? Like, so all this math that I'm doing, whatever, I'm gonna keep doing it. So in my mind, what I've set out for myself is from like, let's say 30 to 35 or so, while I'm working on this red seal as a millwright, is for doing all the tough things. Like I've been going to social outings like pretty much every day of the week almost, to train myself to be to handle the club scene, the party scene, bars, whatever it is, because I never gave myself that. I'm also doing everything in STEM, like science, math, economics, technology, all courses in that side, because I am so weak in that side, right? I'm also working in a trade that is completely on the other side of what I'm good at, the trades. Like I'm a guy who had never even changed a light bulb or anything, right? So that comes really difficult to me. So I'm trying to get a red seal in that. And maybe I've worked for 1 year. So it's a 4-year process to get the red seal. So 3 more years of that. And that teaches me troubleshooting, remaining calm, dealing with my anxiety. Someone just distracted me. But yeah, anyways. So basically I'm doing all the tough things right now, and I know the leverage will come. So maybe whether it's age 35, whether it's age 40, I know I'm going to be a monster. Like, then I can really leverage that and come back to what I'm strong at. Like, I know what I'm good at. And based on my previous success in the domain that I was in, like the kind of success I was able to achieve, what it taught me, like, yeah, I'm coming back for more. And I'll get that leverage. It's just I don't have the competence on this other side of my skill set, and that's what I'm building right now for the next 3 years, 4 years, or even 9 years until age 40. Like, it doesn't matter, however long it takes. While I'm young, I'm working on my weaknesses. Then I'll go back to my strong suit and have the leverage so that I'm not trading time for money, right? I know the leverage comes where I'm strongest, but I'm just not ready for that yet. So anyways, this video is kind of more to myself, even just to document my epiphany today, the realization I had, like why it was so hard to focus on the math, why I'm willing to work the process, push myself. Like, I love that I'm training myself to be compliant, training myself to work the process under somebody else's prescription, the way they've laid out the process, to take that tutelage, because I feel like that is a very necessary. You need to be able to take somebody else's instruction and work the process according to their agenda, so that you can be creative, right? To build beyond that. So I need to train myself to be able to do that. So anyways, let's cap it at 10 minutes. Thanks, guys.